Namaste, Jai Bharat. Bangladesh had been largely and most effectively misguided by left radicals through Pakistan. Right from the time of the ousting of Sheikh Hasina, Pakistan gets an opportunity to enter into the Bangladesh political scenario when Muhammad Yunus was the deep state implant in Bangladesh. They have used it to the optimum, and Yunus is effectively instrumental to in releasing the radicals and Jamaat-e-Islamists etc. who were in Bangladeshi jails. So Bangladesh undergoes not really a demographical change, but a thought structure. They entered in a different kind of paradigm of extreme Islamic radicalism, which instantly appeals to quite a few people. That's natural. They will have to come out of it in time. Bengalis are supposed to be more cultured people, and to what extent the Bengali culture can contain the radicalism is to be seen in the context of present Bangladesh. So that took place in Bangladesh, and this we have seen in the border fencing. Bharat is fencing Bharat-Bangladesh border for quite a few reasons. Number one, infiltrations. There can be innocent infiltrations for the job, etc., etc. That is what is apparent, but there can be very serious kind of infiltrations where terrorist trained people are made to infiltrate the entire Bharat, who would remain as sleeper cells. That is extremely dangerous, and that had happened. That had happened, and the radicalism, Jamaat-e-Islami, IS, and Al Qaeda, etc., trained people. Their kind of indoctrination to these people is devastatingly present. They have infiltrated Bharat. There are something like 2 crores of infiltrated Bangladeshis in entire Bharat, all over. Out of them, we do not know how many are radical indoctrinated. That's the second problem. Cattle thieving is, of course, it's individual centric. Then cattle thieving is individual centric. Drug peddling, drug trafficking, that's also to an extent individual centric. But arms trading, radicalization, and these things are not really individual centric. They are largely organized on a very higher level, rather global level. That's the reason that we have to make fencing in our own territory. Now, Pakistan is normally bullheaded. They have somehow influenced the Bangladeshis that don't allow Bharat to make the fencing. And they went to international, United Nations, and they sent their locals, villagers, who had gone to the borders, taking advantage of inclement weather, when there was rain, this thing, etc., and they destroyed fences. They tried their best to destroy fences, and of course we will again make it in a much stronger manner, that indestructible kind of manner that they have done. And they know that Bharat is not that violent, they are not going to fire bullets, but resistance took place from our side. They had to be pushed back, and they are pushed back. Whichever means, I don't think that our forces will fire indiscriminately at such crowd who are approaching the borders with sticks and country-made weapons, etc. But then they might have to do it. I don't think that they would voluntarily do it, but under extreme pressure they might even go to that. But though it will be an international problem tomorrow, they will take advantage of it. Now Bangladesh will start playing the victim card. And then of course UN itself realizes this, And in spite of all the kinds of lobbying and influencing and things like that, they have realized that they have been doing mistake. That's why the Bangladesh border guards chief rushes to New Delhi and meets home minister, etc., saying that we are helpless, etc. So many plea alibis they were making. All right. Then of course we very clearly told them that you stop radicalism and stop persecuting Hindus. Then that thing is more or less in a suspended kind of situation. That's one thing with Bangladesh. Now another thing interesting happened is that the Hindus of Bangladesh, Hindus in the sense they are extremely poor people. There are some Hindu organizations, especially ISKCONs and things like that, who can get international funds. To what extent they get remains to be seen. Who can get international funds, and they plan to make 3 huge statues. One is Ramji's statue. Ramji represents the entire Bharat, Sanskriti. We call him as Madhyada Purushottam. Ramji really represents the entire Bharatiya Sanskriti and everything. At least we treat it like that. And one Ramji statue they were trying to make, which is supposed to be 81 feet tall, etc. Then Bhagavan Shri Krishna's statue, some 50 feet tall. And then Shankar Bhagavan's statue, some 30 feet tall. So these 3 statues they were making. And nearly 80% of the construction is done. And then of course in Jamaat-e-Islami they approached the government. I don't know how they acted to. So this construction of the statue stopped. In the meantime, some radicalists put a slipper or shoes at the statue of Ramji. Now this is a serious insult to someone who believes, someone who worships, someone who is devoted to Sri Ram. It is very painful. With all those things, the Hindus of Bangladesh took themselves to the streets. Huge demonstrations and things like that. So, sensibly, Bangladesh government cannot afford to do such things. When Bangladesh was made Bangladesh through the sweat and blood of Indian Army, Bharatiya Sena, there was something like 22% of Hindus in Bangladesh, which today is just 8%. Whereas in Bharat, look at the percentage of Muslims in 1947 or even 70s, and what's their percentage today. This is a very striking difference between Hindu Dharma and Islam. No matter how liberal the Islams claim themselves to be, in many countries the radicalism sets in, and where others are not allowed to even breathe. Look at Pakistan. I need not say that the example is very striking and very evident, though such news don't come out mostly. So this is the situation in Bangladesh. I don't know how things will evolve, but the Hindus, when Hindu becomes agitated, well, that's the real kind of they won't leave the battlefield. They stand and fight. That had been the history of Hindus, whether it's Hindus to Bengali or Punjabi or Madrasi. They would stand their grounds. They are not quarrelsome. They are not violent. But once taken to, they will all adopt Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in themselves. So this kind of situation goes on. And the present regime in Bangladesh is also not very legitimate, though elected, because Sheikh Hasina, who is still officially the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, her party, Awami League, was not allowed to contest in the elections. So Bangladesh will have to undergo again regime change in spite of whosoever place. There are many agencies outside Bangladesh who are very nosy parkers in a decent language, who would want regime change in many places. They have this business of getting into other nations and change their structure to suit their intentions and wishes. This is a fact which is not to everyone. But then how much it will be effective depends on the strength, coherence, and uprightness of each society, each nation. To what extent Bangladeshis can be Bengalis? To what extent Bangladeshis can be real Bengalis? Whether it is Nazrul Islam or Rabi Thakur has to answer this question. Whether Bangladeshis can, if they want to be simply radicals and radical Islamists, then of course they can do anything. But if they are Bengali Muslims, then that should make a difference. Let's hope that sanity will prevail among people. Let's hope things will be better, and let's really wish that Sheikh Hasina comes back to Bangladesh. She had been, though not that exceptionally friendly with Bharat, she also maintains her ties with China, etc. We don't want that, personally speaking, but then that's her nation, her choice. But she had proved herself as an effective leader of Bangladesh. The right thing for the Bangladeshis to do is to get Sheikh Hasina back. There were some rallies demanding her return, but they should do something that she returns and Bangladesh walks into normalcy and progress. They've gone back. They've gone back in time because of all this drama. We shall meet. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.